You ever wonder why the love you give to everyone else comes so easily, yet when it's time to give that same love to yourself, you hesitate, you hold back, you second guess whether you even deserve it? We grow up being taught how to please people, how to be polite, how to make others comfortable, even if it costs us our peace. But no one ever really sat us down and said, hey, before you fall in love with someone else, before you chase validation, before you bend and shrink to fit someone else's expectations, you need to love yourself first, fiercely, loudly, without apology. The truth is, most people are starving for their own love, not just the bubble baths and the spa days. I'm talking about the hard love, the I won't tolerate this anymore kind of love, the I deserve better kind of love, the I choose myself even if it makes others uncomfortable kind of love. That's the love we're going to talk about today. Because if you don't give it to yourself first, if you keep outsourcing your worth to people who don't know how to value it, you will keep breaking your own heart in ways no one else can see. You will keep shrinking, bending, apologizing for taking up space in your own damn life. This message isn't here to make you feel good. It's here to make you remember who you are. It's a wake-up call, a line drawn in the sand. Because once you start choosing yourself, everything changes. You stop begging. You stop explaining. You stop overcompensating just to be seen or kept. And the best part, you stop chasing people who are never meant to hold your heart in the first place. So lean in. Let's get uncomfortable. Let's get honest, because by the time this is over, you won't just know why you deserve your own love. First, you'll feel it in your bones, and you'll never give it away for crumbs again. They told you to be kind. They told you to be humble. They told you to give, to care, to be there for others. But what they didn't tell you was that if you don't learn to love yourself first, really, truly, unapologetically, you will bleed for people who wouldn't give you a drop of water if you were on fire. Self-love isn't a luxury. It isn't a trend. It's not some soft, poetic, feel-good idea floating around on your social media feed. Self-love is survival. It's the backbone of your mental health. It's the foundation of your boundaries. It's the quiet strength that says, I don't owe anyone my destruction to prove my loyalty. Loving yourself is how you stop the cycle of emotional bankruptcy. Because how many times have you poured yourself into someone hoping they'd give you back even half of what you gave? How many nights have you sat there, feeling empty, drained, wondering why the people you show up for the most are the ones who disappear when you need them? That happens when you keep trying to love people from a place of depletion, when you believe that giving more will finally earn you what you were never meant to chase in the first place. There's nothing noble about putting yourself last. That's not love. That's self-abandonment, and you can't keep abandoning yourself and expecting to be whole. You're not supposed to constantly explain your worth. You're not meant to prove your value through sacrifice. Real love, the kind that sustains, the kind that heals, starts with you saying, I matter too. It's not selfish to put your needs on the table. It's not rude to say no when you're tired. It's not arrogance to believe that you deserve respect, peace, and space to grow. That's what survival looks like in a world that benefits from your silence and compliance. Let's be honest, there are people who will call you selfish the moment you stop catering to them. The moment you set a boundary, the moment you pull back, the moment you stop being their emotional punching bag, they'll say you changed. And maybe you did. You grew tired of being everyone else's support system while your own needs collected dust in the corner. You learned that you cannot love people into being who you need them to be. You learned that your worth is not a reward for good behavior. It just is. And that realization, that's where your real power starts. Think of how many situations you tolerated because you didn't love yourself enough to walk away. Think about how many red flags you turned pink with excuses because you didn't believe you deserved better. That version of you, that exhausted, people-pleasing version, was trying so hard to be enough for everyone else while being completely invisible to yourself. But here's the truth. The relationship you have with yourself sets the tone for every relationship in your life. If you don't treat yourself with respect, don't expect others to. If you don't speak to yourself with love, don't be surprised when others speak to you with judgment. If you don't prioritize yourself, the world will keep putting you last. Self-love teaches you to stop waiting to be saved. It tells you that you are the hero, that your validation doesn't have to come from anyone's mouth but your own, that you can stop auditioning for roles in people's lives who don't even deserve a seat in yours. And no, this doesn't mean you walk through life with walls up, hardened and cold. It means you move with clarity, with intention, with standards. It means you understand that your time, your energy, your heart, they are investments, not donations. You're allowed to protect yourself. You're allowed to outgrow what no longer serves you. You're allowed to take your power back, even if it makes others uncomfortable. You see, when you start loving yourself first, you change the game. You stop chasing. You stop settling. You stop handing out access to people who haven't earned it. You stop crying over closed doors and start building your own. This kind of love, it's bold. It's grounded. It's not loud or boastful. It's steady. It's the kind that looks in the mirror and says, I've got me, no matter what. And when you've got you, you become unstoppable. Not because you don't need anyone, but because you no longer depend on people who are inconsistent, unavailable, or emotionally bankrupt to define your worth. You deserve the kind of self-love that makes you walk differently, that makes you speak up instead of shrink down, that allows you to walk away from half love, half effort, and half truce without hesitation. So the next time someone tells you that loving yourself is selfish, smile, because what they're really saying is they no longer benefit from your self-neglect. And that's not your problem. It's your responsibility to take care of you. No one is coming to do it for you. No one is going to hand you your value. You claim it, you embody it, you protect it. Self-love isn't a vibe. It's not a trend. It's not a buzzword. It's your survival. And you deserve to survive fully, not in pieces, not in silence, not on the sidelines of your own life, but as a center, as a source, as a standard. Every time you let something slide that hurts you, you teach the world how to treat you. Every time you bite your tongue when your boundary is crossed, every time you say it's fine when it isn't, every time you shrink yourself to make others feel more comfortable, you send a message, not just to others but to yourself, that your peace, your worth, and your voice can be compromised. And here's the truth, what you allow is what will continue. It starts small. Someone makes a passive-aggressive comment. You laugh it off. They cancel plans over and over. You keep showing up. They speak over you, question your choices, undermine your growth, and you say nothing. You think, it's not worth the fight, or I don't want to create tension. But what you're really doing is giving them permission to keep doing it. Because silence isn't always strength. Sometimes silence is surrender. The harsh reality, people will only stop crossing your boundaries when they realize there's a consequence. But if there's never a cost, they'll never stop collecting the benefits. You see, people don't change because you hope they will. They change when you require them to. When your energy shifts, when you start saying no without guilt, when you stop entertaining what drains you, when you stop defending your standards like they're up for debate. Letting people stay in your life who repeatedly disrespect your limits isn't kindness, it's self-betrayal. It's saying to yourself, their comfort matters more than my well-being. And over time, that betrayal compounds. It builds resentment, exhaustion, a quiet, bitter rage that simmers beneath your smile. You don't deserve that. It's not your job to teach grown people how to respect you, but it is your job to stop giving access to people who repeatedly show they can't. Because here's what happens when you don't. They get comfortable disrespecting you. They get used to your forgiveness without accountability. They learn that your love is unconditional even when their effort is non-existent. And eventually, they don't even see your silence as strength anymore. They see it as weakness. They assume you'll stay no matter what, that you'll keep watering dead gardens, that you'll keep making excuses for their behavior while they do the bare minimum. But something powerful happens when you decide that enough is enough. You stop explaining, you stop negotiating your worth. You start walking away, not to be dramatic, not to punish, but to protect. You protect your peace, your time, your energy. And suddenly, everything changes. People who once played games start getting confused. They don't know how to react when the version of you who tolerated everything stops responding. When you stop answering texts that only come when they need something. When you stop making yourself emotionally available to people who are emotionally careless. And the beauty is you don't owe anyone a big speech or a breakdown. Your shift in energy, your distance, your silence, it speaks volumes. It's not about being cold, it's about being clear. Loving people doesn't mean letting them harm you. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting patterns. And grace doesn't mean tolerance of toxicity. You are not hard to love. You are not too much. You are not asking for too much when you ask for consistency, honesty, respect, or effort. The people who try to convince you otherwise are simply trying to keep benefiting from your low boundaries. You are allowed to raise the price of admission into your life. You're allowed to say, if you want access to me, you've got to meet me at the level I'm at, not in ego, but in self-respect. It doesn't matter how long you've known someone. If their presence disrupts your growth, their history doesn't give them immunity. Loyalty isn't about time, it's about truth, about alignment, about whether or not the people around you elevate you or drain you. And yes, it will be uncomfortable at first, because you've trained people to expect a version of you that doesn't protect itself. But the discomfort of enforcing your standards is far less damaging than the pain of constantly betraying yourself. The day you start honoring your boundaries is the day everything in your life begins to shift. You attract better people, better energy, better opportunities, not because the world changes, but because you do, because you finally start showing up like someone who understands that peace isn't optional, it's the price of admission. The moment you decide to stop allowing what hurts you is the moment you reclaim your power. You stop hoping they'll get it. You stop begging for crumbs. You stop performing for acceptance. And you start leading with truth, because you understand that what you allow, what you tolerate, becomes the blueprint for every relationship, every interaction, every decision you make. So raise the bar, set the boundary, speak the truth, even when your voice shakes. Because if you don't stand up for your own peace, who will? And the next time you feel guilt for enforcing your standards, remember, the people who love you will rise to meet you. The ones who fall away, they were only staying because your silence served them. Let that silence go. Let your standards speak. What you allow is what will continue. So don't allow what breaks you. Allow what builds you. That voice in your head, the one that keeps whispering you're not enough, that you always mess things up, that you'll never be as good, as strong, or as worthy as others, that voice isn't truth. It's habit. It's programming. And if you don't challenge it, it will keep running your life like a quiet dictator hiding behind your thoughts. We've all got an inner critic. It's that relentless narrator that points out every flaw, replays every failure, and casts doubt over every dream. It feeds on your insecurity. It remembers your past mistakes with perfect clarity and somehow forgets every single time you were brave, disciplined, or victorious. It clings to shame. It digs into old wounds. And if you let it, it'll convince you that your future must be shaped by your failures, not by your strength. But here's what you need to understand. You are not your past. You are not the worst thing you've ever done. You are not the story someone else told about you when they were too broken to love you, right? You are not that one bad decision, that lost relationship, that missed opportunity. You are not your trauma. You are not your scars. You are who you choose to become. And you get to choose differently. You get to choose power over pity, growth over guilt, courage over condemnation. But you can't do that if you let the voice in your head keep pulling you back into the shadows. That voice, it was built in survival. Maybe it came from your upbringing, people who planted doubt, fear, or shame in your spirit. Maybe it came from trauma, moments that stripped you of your sense of control. Maybe it came from years of failure or rejection, slowly eroding your confidence. Wherever it came from, it's not there to help you thrive. It's there to keep you small. And let's be real, it's loudest when you're on the verge of becoming someone new. When you finally decide to break cycles, to set boundaries, to show up for yourself in ways you never have before, that's when the inner critic starts screaming. Not because you're wrong, but because you're disrupting the old story. You're threatening the comfort of familiarity. You're becoming too bold, too loud, too powerful for the identity the critic has clung to. So what do? You start by recognizing that voice is not you. It's a pattern, a reflex, a survival instinct. And the more awareness you bring to it, the less power it holds. When the critic says, "You're a failure," you interrupt it. "I failed, but I'm not a failure. And I've learned more from that failure than I ever did from playing it safe." When it says, "You're too broken to be loved," you answer, "I've been hurt, but I'm healing. I'm learning, and my scars make me wiser, not less worthy." When it whispers, "Who do you think you are?" you respond boldly, "I am becoming someone who is no longer ashamed of their truth." Silencing your inner critic doesn't mean pretending it's not there. It means not letting it drive anymore. It means choosing to speak louder than it, to be your own advocate, to become a voice of self-respect inside your mind, louder than fear, louder than shame. You replace "what if I fail" with "what if I fly." You swap "I don't deserve this" with "I've worked for this." You shift from "they were right about me" to "I know who I am now." And over time, something beautiful happens. The inner critic gets quieter, not because it disappears, but because you stop feeding it. You stop giving it power through repetition, through agreement, through silence. Every time you show up for yourself, you prove the critic wrong. Every time you do the hard thing, speak your truth, walk away from what doesn't serve you, you send a message: "I am not who I was. I am who I decide to be." You begin to rebuild your relationship with yourself. You learn to talk to yourself like someone you're responsible for, protecting, with patience, with accountability, with compassion. You stop bullying yourself in the name of growth, because shame never healed anyone. It only delays the healing. This isn't about being delusional. It's about being deliberate, choosing words, thoughts, and beliefs that build you instead of breaking you. Speaking life over your future, not death over your potential. You were not put here to be your own enemy. You were not born to doubt yourself every step of the way. You were born to fight for your voice, your space, your power, and yes, you'll stumble. You'll fall back into old stories. But the difference now is you'll catch it. You'll call it out. You'll redirect your mind the way a leader redirects a mission. Because you are the leader of your own mind. And no past version of you, no matter how hurt, how lost, how flawed, gets to dictate where you go from here. Your story is not over. It's just beginning. So the next time your inner critic tries to speak, listen, but don't bow. Let it speak, then let it pass. Then anchor yourself in the truth. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not your critic. You are the author of what comes next. There's a reason why some days you feel drained before noon, why you walk into certain rooms and instantly feel smaller, why a single conversation can shift your entire mood, and not in a good way. It's because your energy is your most valuable currency, and most people don't even realize they're giving it away like spare change. Your energy is your life force. It fuels your thoughts, your decisions, your relationships, and your dreams. And when it's constantly being chipped away by people who take more than they give, by situations that leave you anxious or bitter, by your own thoughts that replay negativity on a loop, you start to lose more than just motivation. You start to lose yourself. You can't become who you're meant to be if your energy is being spent surviving instead of thriving. That's why you have to protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. See, most people think protecting your energy means being soft, being passive, or withdrawn. That's not what this is. This is war. Quiet, invisible, spiritual war. And if you're not strategic about who and what you allow into your space, you'll find yourself constantly exhausted, resentful, confused, without even knowing why. There are people who thrive on drama, people who stir chaos just to feel alive, people who will drain your optimism, your belief in yourself, your peace, because they haven't figured out how to create it for themselves. If you let them, they will rob you of your clarity, your confidence, and your time. Not always intentionally, but consistently. And sometimes it's not even people, it's your own habits, your own doom scrolling, your own refusal to say no. The way you let guilt make your decisions, the way you say, "I'm fine," when you're clearly not, just to keep the peace. Every time you betray yourself to make someone else comfortable, You pay for it with your energy, and the price is never worth it. You need to get clear on one thing. You are not here to be a dumping ground for other people's chaos. You are not here to carry relationships on your back. You are not a therapist for people who don't want to do the work. You are not a second chance factory for those who only show up when they need something. You are not an emotional landfill. You are a temple, and not everyone gets to walk through your doors. Protecting your energy starts with boundaries. Not walls, boundaries. Clear, firm, unapologetic lines that say, this is where I end and you begin. Boundaries aren't about keeping people out. They're about keeping you in alignment. They're how you preserve your peace, how you honor your capacity, how you remind yourself that you matter too. And guess what? Some people won't like it when you start protecting your energy. They'll call you selfish, distant, cold. Let them. Because the people who benefit from your lack of boundaries will always be the loudest when you finally set them. That's not your problem. That's proof that the boundaries were overdue. You also have to audit your environment. Look around. What are you consuming? What are you listening to? Who are you spending time with? You can't pour clean water into a dirty glass and expect purity. The same goes for your spirit. You can't expect to feel powerful and grounded if your daily input is negativity, gossip, comparison, and noise. Start being intentional with your inputs. Feed your mind with truth, with inspiration, with silence. If that's what you need, find people who pour into you the way you pour into others. Protect your morning like it's sacred, because it is. How you start your day determines how you carry yourself through it. Guard it. Be ruthless about it. Protecting your energy also means checking yourself. You might be your biggest energy thief. Are you dwelling on the past? Are you replaying conversations that already happened? Are you living in fear of what might happen instead of showing up fully for what's actually happening? Are you carrying anger that doesn't belong to you anymore? That's energy leakage, and if you don't plug those holes, no amount of peace will ever feel like enough. Let go, not because they deserve peace, but because you do. Forgiveness isn't about them. It's a release valve for your soul, so you can stop leading energy into people and moments that no longer exist. Finally, understand this. Energy is not unlimited. You don't get to waste it on things that don't grow you, love you, or serve your purpose and still expect to feel whole. You only get so many days, so many hours, so many chances to show up in your full power. Don't waste them being half present in places that drain you. You deserve to feel vibrant, clear, centered. You deserve a life that doesn't feel like survival mode 24/7. But you don't get that by default. You get it by design, by choice, by discipline. You get it by refusing to hand your peace over to people who never earned it. You get it by making your inner world more important than their opinion. So protect your energy like your life depends on it. Not later, not when it gets worse. Now, because every day you spend depleted is a day you weren't fully alive. And this life, it won't wait for you to get it together. Your peace is your power. Guard it like treasure. Because once you learn how to protect it, you'll never let anyone take it from you again. You are the standard. Let that sink in for a second. Not a reflection of someone else's expectations. Not a watered-down version of your potential. Not a shadow of the person you admire. You are the blueprint, and if you don't act like it, no one else will. We live in a world obsessed with comparison. Social media shows you highlight reels, filtered faces, edited lives, and if you're not careful, you start to shrink yourself trying to measure up to someone else's illusion. You begin to think their validation makes you worthy, their attention makes you important, their acceptance makes you enough. But here's the truth. When you treat yourself like an afterthought, don't be surprised when others do too. You set the tone for how the world engages with you. Every boundary you enforce or ignore, every time you say yes when you mean no, every time you stay silent when your voice is needed, you're teaching people how to treat you. And if you carry yourself like an option, they will never see you as a priority. This isn't about arrogance. It's not about pretending you have it all figured out or putting on a mask of perfection. This is about owning your value so fully that you no longer feel the need to prove it. When you know you are the standard, your presence speaks before you even open your mouth. There's a quiet confidence in that, a power that doesn't demand attention, but commands respect. You want better relationships? Start by raising your standard. Stop entertaining people who only reach out when they need something. Stop explaining your worth to those committed to misunderstanding it. You don't owe anyone access to your energy, just because they've known you a long time, or because you're afraid of being alone. If they can't meet you at your level, they don't belong in your space. Period. And don't just raise your standards for how others treat you. Raise them for how you treat yourself. If you constantly break promises to yourself, how can you expect others to keep theirs? If you tolerate your own excuses, distractions, and patterns that sabotage your growth, you're telling the universe you're not serious about your potential. And guess what? The universe listens. Being the standard means you show up for yourself, even when no one's watching. It means you hold yourself accountable, not because someone else is checking, but because your future depends on it. It means you say, I deserve more, and then back that up with action, with discipline, with consistency. Because the version of you you're becoming, she doesn't wait for permission. She leads. Some of you are waiting for someone to come and choose you, to validate your dreams, to finally make you feel enough. But let me tell you something painful and liberating at the same time. No one is coming to rescue you. No one is coming to hand you your worth on a silver platter. You have to wake up every day and choose yourself, again and again, until it becomes second nature. And yes, it will feel uncomfortable at first. You'll question it. You'll wonder if you're being too much. You'll feel guilty for outgrowing people and places you once loved. But that's the cost of elevation. That's the price of choosing you. And it is so worth it. Because when you truly realize you are the standard, you stop settling, not just in relationships, but in everything. You stop taking jobs that drain you. You stop putting off your goals. You stop playing small just to make others feel comfortable. You walk into rooms like you belong there. Because you do. You speak your truth, even if your voice shakes. You make decisions from power, not fear. You stop begging for seats at tables that were never built for you, and instead you build your own damn table. And guess what? The right people, people who respect your boundaries, who honor your worth, who celebrate your growth, they will come, not because you chased them, but because your energy called them in. But none of that can happen if you keep lowering your standards just to be accepted. Every time you settle, you send a message to the universe, this is all I think I'm worth. And the universe delivers accordingly. You want more, expect more. From others, from the world, but most importantly, from yourself. You are not here to be average. You are not here to survive off crumbs. You are not here to spend your life trying to fit in with people who don't even know how to value themselves. You are here to set the tone, to lead with authenticity, to move with purpose, to walk like your existence is not an accident, because it's not. So act like it, speak like it, move like it. Let everything about you say, this is who I am, this is what I expect, and I won't accept anything less. Because when you finally embrace that truth, that you are the standard, your life will change. Not because the world suddenly treats you better, but because you do. And that right there is where your power begins. Let me tell you something that might just change everything for you. You have spent far too long waiting to be chosen, waiting to be seen, waiting to be loved the way you deserve. But the truth is, the love you've been searching for out there was always supposed to come from you first. When you begin to love yourself with the same fire you pour into others, you stop chasing and you start attracting, you stop begging and you start becoming, you stop settling and you start rising. This world will try to convince you that loving yourself first is selfish, that choosing your peace is wrong, that raising your standards makes you too much. But let me be clear, there is nothing selfish about self-respect. There is nothing wrong with refusing to shrink. There is nothing too much about choosing you. You're not here to prove your worth to anyone. You're here to own it. So from this moment forward, stop negotiating with your value. Stop explaining why you're worthy. Stop editing yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant for your greatness. You are the foundation. You are the fire. You are the standard. Love yourself so fully, so fiercely that anyone who enters your life knows they're stepping into sacred ground. And if they can't rise to meet you there, let them go. Because the life you truly want, it doesn't come to the version of you who keeps doubting, shrinking, or waiting for permission. It comes to the version of you who finally looks in the mirror and says, I am done abandoning myself. I am enough as I am, and I deserve my own love first. Now walk like it, speak like it, live like it. Your time is now. Choose yourself and never look back.